Hi guys, it's Machaela and welcome to my channel and welcome to a postpartum update. I was gonna do this vlog style and kind of do updates throughout the first month of my postpartum season. However, that didn't quite work out. I just kept doing other things, getting distracted, so I figured why not do it just sitting down story time style. At the time I am filming this, my baby is about 2 months old, so I just kind of wanted to recap the last 2 months of just being in this postpartum season. So with the first few days, obviously there's the physical recovery, which actually wasn't near as bad as what I expected it to be. If you watched any of my pregnancy vlogs, you'll know the last 4 weeks of my pregnancy was really rough on my body. I was dealing with some not so fun pregnancy symptoms that I actually expected to deal with in the postpartum season, which I did not do that at all. I expected to have some tearing. If you know, you know. If you've been through pregnancy and labor and delivery, you know. I didn't have any tearing this time around. And she was actually my biggest baby. She was 7 pounds 11 ounces when she was born. So and we actually had gone to almost 42 weeks pregnant with her. But I'll do an official birth story separate from this. I mean, you can go back and look at my birth vlog. I have most of the information in there. But I want to do an official birth story. I remember it all pretty clearly. I mean, I'll probably go back and refer to my vlogs just so I can get all the details, and ask my husband as well. He'd probably remember more than I do. But the first few days we got home and it was just kind of getting comfortable, getting physically comfortable. Again, I didn't deal with any tearing. I didn't deal with any hemorrhoid issues. So all of that, which I fully expected to deal with, didn't happen. So physically my recovery was actually very smooth. I felt very crampy almost. I mean, if you know what contractions feel like, trying to kind of go back down. I dealt with that for about a month. The first 2 weeks were the hardest, and then on and off for about a month I dealt with that. So that part lasted longer than I anticipated. But nothing that a good dose of Tylenol or ibuprofen couldn't fix. So as long as I stayed on top of that, I did okay. It was when I was trying to think I can go without it that my body was like, nope, not ready yet. So this was my easiest postpartum recovery period, physically speaking. And then mentally, emotionally, again, if you've been through postpartum, you know it's not fun. The emotional roller coaster is just a whirlwind of emotions. And even that for me wasn't terrible. I remember in the past feeling just overwhelmed with just emotion and not really knowing what to do about it. And this time around, I actually felt like I still went through that, and it still hit me pretty hard, but it's nothing that I didn't already expect to go through, which in a sense it made it easier. There would be waves of emotion where it literally felt like, if you've seen a wave on the beach, it felt like a wave, I'd be fine, totally okay, and then all of a sudden a wave of severe, I don't want to say depression, but kind of depression, feeling severe overwhelming emotion that I just kind of had to stop and just be for a minute, and it would just come at the most random of times. There was no rhyme or reason behind it. It was just an overflooding of just sadness almost, and for no reason other than this is just the postpartum period. This is what happens. So all of that just, and even every once in a while I still get it, but it just happens every once in a while now. So overall I feel like I'm doing pretty good on that. It's not near what it was. I have decided that I did not want to breastfeed. I am formula feeding. Breast is best versus formula feeding. Personally, I don't care. Just feed your baby. I'm a formula feeding mama. It's a decision that works best for my family. I remember in the past going, I was trying to breastfeed my son a couple of years ago, and every time he latched, I felt these overwhelming emotions that I could not control, and it was only when I latched and I felt this desire to do absolutely nothing, all of a sudden overwhelmed by everything. And when he was done feeding, I was fine. It was like an instant like perk up, my mood perked up, and I just did not want to put myself through that again. So any sort of like breastfeeding type stuff, I just get really upset with, and I did it this time around. So again, not something I feel the need to put myself through, and because of that, like I feel like because I'm not breastfeeding, I'm able to do more with my other children. I'm able to give the baby to my husband to feed and take care of in the middle of the night, and it's just a decision that just works best for our family. Even this time around, I can get into a whole video on that, and if that is something you do want to know, like my decision to formula feed, I can do a whole video as to reasons why and reasons why I have done so in the past. So let me know. But just I'm feeling good, but the waves of like sadness and depression do still come a little bit. But especially those first 2 weeks, it was just like rapid emotion. And the way I've kind of explained it to my husband is, you have to understand, for 9 months my body has gone through pregnancy and hormonal changes and all of these crazy wild emotions all in a very short period of time. And then in an even shorter period of time, I'm no longer pregnant. I'm now in the postpartum season, and everything that my body has been working up for 9 months is now stripped away from my body. So of course I'm going to go through some postpartum hormonal imbalances and some sadness and like an overwhelming sense of emotions. But at the same time, having my baby here has brought me so much joy, so much love. And if you're a first time mom going through this, just know that this is normal. Like postpartum depression is real. Postpartum anxiety is real. Or if you're pregnant, anxiety and depression is a very real part. You're not a bad mom because of it. You are just going through the season of life. Again, look at what your body does for 9 months, and then look at what your body's all of a sudden stripped of. It's like, it's wild and it's crazy. And having gone through this yet again, I think the biggest factor for me and why I'm doing as well as I am is because I know what it is I'm going through. I've gone through the phases where like depression hits hard. I've gone through the phases where anxiety hits even harder, and I've gone through the phases where you're just so happy yet you're sad all at the same time. I mean, I have so much joy. I'm so glad to have yet another little one in my life. I'm so glad that God has blessed my family with another beautiful, wonderful, healthy baby, and she is just so perfect. But if you are experiencing things like depression, things like anxiety, please get help for it. I mean, no shame, you're not a bad mom. You're just going through normal, everyday motherhood things. And for some people it hits harder than others, and for some people it's different. For some people it could be their 4th or their 5th child. For others it's their 1st or their 2nd. And I think my hardest transition was with my first going into motherhood. And for me that had a lot to do with not having been a mom before and then all of a sudden going into motherhood. But I've heard different stories from different people, so you're not a bad mom. You're just going through normal things, and I would advise that you seek out other moms, that you seek out help if you need it. Seek out professional help. Again, I'm not a doctor. I've gone through it. But that's kind of it. Bleeding wise, I bled for about a month, and then little spotting here and there. I did heavy bleeding for about a month, and then a lot of spotting here and there where I'm not really expecting it. So it has came and gone. I have officially cycled out on my period. However, there's still some kinks there that need to get worked out. Again, my body will work itself out. There's no 2 postpartum seasons that are alike. But I am happy to have officially cycled out, so I know what my body's doing. But again, I just got another period a few days ago, and it's like it was 2 weeks from what I thought was my last period, so I don't really know if it's my period or if it's still some of the postpartum bleeding coming into place. So cycling out may have not been the right term, but I thought I was cycling out. Now I don't know what's going on. But everything's working just as it should be, and everything as I expected it to be. If I continue to do this, where I'm doing 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, I will contact my doctor. But as of right now, I don't feel the need to do that. But officially I bled for a full 4 weeks. After 4 weeks it completely died off, but then it would pick up here and there, but nothing that I'm personally concerned about. It just, my body's still trying to get back into it. I am only 2 months postpartum, so my body is still trying to figure itself out. And as far as adjusting the baby, I feel like we're still kind of in that adjustment phase. In my past experiences, it took me about 3 months to really adjust to the new routine within our family dynamic. And by the time I hit that 3 mark every time, about 2.5 to 3 months, that's when things started getting, I feel like, easier. We started finding our groove back. I started to feel more like myself again. So I can feel that we're on the edge of that, and I could feel my baby starting to get into her sleep rhythms and patterns, and it's not so much cluster feeding anymore, but it's, again, not quite there yet, but I can feel a little bit more predictability coming into her schedule, which is kind of nice. I always start to feel good around like the 2 to 3 month mark. So that's been nice to kind of find our routine again, but we're still there, and I still feel myself like doing these weird hormonal things. So again, it just takes time. I mean, I've heard it takes up to 6 months to recover. I've heard it's taken to 12 to 18 months to recover. I think it depends on the individual. But as far as getting back into my pregnancy clothes, or my pre-pregnancy clothes, I am back into them. I am going to brag a little bit here. I am back to almost my pre-pregnancy weight. Last weigh-in at my 6-week checkup, I was 113 pounds. I went up to about 132 this pregnancy. Now I'm back to 113. My pre-pregnancy weight before this baby was 109. I went down to 104 with morning sickness, and then just gradually went back up. So I want to say 113. I haven't weighed myself in a couple of weeks, but I want to say I'll probably hover right around here between 109 and 113. Again, I know I'm naturally a skinny person. I know that's just the body that God has gave me, and I'm so proud to have it. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to state facts on here, but I am bragging. I am kind of proud of my body for doing that. I think it's awesome. I'm excited about that. Before I had kids, I was only 97 pounds, but I also had other issues with eating back then, which again, I think I have an old video on my channel about that, but I can always do another updated video on that. I've learned how to manage that side of things, but that was just kind of like my pregnancy journey after having multiple children. This video was probably in a million different directions. I tend to do that. I don't have anything scripted today. Sometimes I'll write notes down on a piece of paper, but this one I just wanted to state from memory based on how I'm feeling today. So if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I do videos focusing on beauty and lifestyle, and my goal on this platform is to share my love for beauty as well as my love for Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Again, if you are in the postpartum season, if you are dealing with anxiety or depression or any other mental illness, please contact somebody. Contact the hotline. I'll see if I can find something to list down below. And just know that if you are a mom and you are going through this and it's harder than you expected, it's perfectly normal. Again, you went through 9 months of pregnancy, 9 months of hormones, and now your body is trying to figure out how to get back to normal, and it's probably never going to be normal. I'm not normal, from before I had kids. I mean, I'm a whole different person. Yeah, I still have things that are the same from like interests and stuff that are the same from before I had kids, but I mean, your entire DNA changes, your entire body changes when you have a child, so give yourself grace, give yourself time, give yourself a minute to bounce back, and take as much time as you need. Again, there's no time limit on it. Personally, in my experience, once I got through like that 3 month mark, I started to feel like myself again, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the same for everybody. That's just been my experience going through the postpartum season multiple times, and even then there's still times where you're just sitting there like, what am I gonna do? Like, how do I get through this? My first baby, I felt like I was in the postpartum season for the first year. I do remember the 3 month mark kind of being like like starting to feel like myself again, but I felt like postpartum I was in for a full year. That doesn't mean I went through like full-on depression, but I've gone through the postpartum season multiple times, and it has been harder with other babies and then easier with others. For me, my first one was in trying to learn how to be a mom was the hardest for me. So just keep at it. It's one of those things where it's normal. We all get through it. I am so blessed to be a mom. I am so happy to be a mom, because the amount of joy and the amount of like good emotions, so to speak, I feel, and like the joy, the happiness, the excitement, the fun. Like, I enjoy being a mom. I enjoy having my children, and as hard as the postpartum season can be, the amount of joy I feel and excitement that I feel being a mom, it outweighs the hard parts. It truly does. I mean, motherhood, it is a whirlwind, but I am so, like, I love being a mom. I love that I get to raise my children up in the Lord, in the church, and with other people in my life who are also mothers. And I feel like that's key, is get involved with other mothers, you know. Give it to God first and foremost. Allow Him to give you friendships who are also, you know, mothers who are also raising their children in the same stage as you are. And I feel like that's one of those things that has greatly helped me, is having mom friends, because we can all like sit there and just laugh and giggle about it and relate to one another, or get serious and say like, hey, this is hard. You know, it's, get yourself some good mom friends. Seriously, that it helps out tremendously. But I wouldn't trade anything for being a mother. Being a wife, being a mother, those are my two greatest loves, and quite honestly, the greatest calling that a woman can have on this earth is to be a mother and to be a wife. And forget what society says about needing to do this, that, and the other. Like, I wouldn't trade anything for being a mom and being a wife. They are my number one priority in this world. My relationship with God comes first, and then being a wife and a mother after that, and I wouldn't trade it. And I'm so blessed to be here and to be able to give this side of myself to my family, and to hopefully share it on here or anywhere the Lord may lead me to share it. I am very open about my experience as a mom and a wife, and wherever the Lord may share it, then I would love to be able to share that as well. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.